This episode of the OnlyKings podcast is brought to you by OrganicPricedBooks.com. Guys, there's not been a better time to get into collecting comics, and OrganicPricedBooks.com has multiple formats such as the Omnibus, Deluxe hardcover, and trade paperbacks at huge discounts, such as The Amazing Spider-Man Volume 5, originally at $125, marked down to $80. Use my discount code NOAH, N-O-A-H, at checkout for an additional discount on top of what you're already getting, which can range from anywhere between 25 to 42% off. Again, OrganicPricedBooks.com, discount code NOAH, N-O-A-H, for an additional discount. Now back to the show.
3, 2, 1. All right. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening again. So a little context before we start this episode. Recently, I was contacted by Mr. Gibson here, and he's got a really great organization, a great nonprofit we're going to discuss here. And so if you guys watch this episode and then watch next episodes that come afterwards, and the timeline of events that we talk about seem out of line, that's just because we're recording this right now, in the middle of August, and any episodes coming after this, we recorded those about 2 months ago. But because of the subject matter we're going to cover today, I feel like this is a lot more important than anything I've gotten in those other episodes, to be quite honest. So, as far as all I got to say about that, again, sir, thank you very much for being here. Thank you very much for taking time out of your day and contacting me. So, if you would, just go ahead and introduce yourself and what your nonprofit is.
Well, my name is Brian Gibson, Sergeant First Class, retired, United States Army. I was a combat medic, and I am the founder and president of Project Diehard. Our mission is to bring public awareness to veteran suicide and to assist veterans in transitioning from active duty back to the civilian world. How do we plan on doing that? Our facilities. We're going to bring them in, teach them a new trade, give them counseling and therapy, a place to talk, feel safe. And yeah, that's our main mission.
Well, I mean, I love what you guys are doing, and looking into you guys' social media pages and reading over that packet that you emailed me before we started this. What I think you guys are doing is just an absolutely, it's sad how necessary it is, but it's amazing that you guys are doing it. And I think your guys' plan as far as creating that Fort Hope, and then more, what really stuck out to me was the FOB rush, the forward operating base rush that you guys are going into. So before we get really into veteran suicide and how horrible that is, why maybe it happens, why is it continuing, and why it might start spiking with things going on in the Middle East. You could talk a little bit about what for anyone watching that doesn't really have any military experience, what a FOB is, what kind of what you're taking from what a traditional FOB is, using that here stateside, and what Rush is going to do to help out veterans after they get separated from service.
Okay, well, we formed in 2018. We got our nonprofit status in 2019. We just started getting rolling, and then 2020 hit. Our first goal was Fort Hope, right? You got to start somewhere. We were looking at 114 acres to purchase. We were raising funds for that. And right in the height of 2020, we almost had to close the doors. Why? Because there's so many of us out there, and so many, I don't know how to say this politically correct.
You don't need to. That's what's awesome about podcasting. You don't need to.
Okay. There's so many people out there scamming people, claiming to be veterans, or other veterans organizations that say, oh, we're helping, but yet I can't find anything of where they're helping.
Yeah.
I won't name names because it's just bad karma, but they're out there. We are a true nonprofit. I do not take a salary. None of my board takes a salary. That's the important thing people have to understand. There are real nonprofits out there trying to do real things. So, 2020, we almost had to close our doors, but I don't know if you've heard of Pastor Greg Locke.
I have not. No.
Oh, wow, man. You need to check him out. Okay. But he's a brother of mine in Christ, and he runs this little church, down there in Mount Juliet, Tennessee. I do got to give him a shout out because he's just a great man. If you ever get a chance to go to his church, go. If you need prayer, go to him, because I swear God has a hold button for him.
That's awesome.
He's just that guy. But his church gave us a small donation that kept the lights on. And I mean, literally kept the lights on.
Yeah.
That led to the Veterans of Foreign Wars doing the story on myself and the mission. That led to a local TV station here in Illinois, WSIL TV, to do a story on us. Which led to the Haven of Love Christian Daycare Organization calling us and saying, would you be willing to come and tell us about your mission? Well, of course, I'll go anywhere and talk about the mission. It's that important. So we go, and they take me around these 20 acres, peaceful pond, woods, then they walk me into this building, walk me through it, and they were explaining how the kids would graduate from this room to that room. And at the end of it, he goes, can you use this for your mission? And I went, yes, we most definitely, but we can't afford this.
Right.
This is 20 acres at a 10,000 square foot building. He goes, good. We're going to donate it to you.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So now our focus has changed from 114 acres to 20 acres in a 10,000 square foot building, because now we have a building and land and we can make a difference.
Right.
Okay. At Forward Operating Base Rush, and just that, the people that aren't in the military, little knockout here is, you've heard of Fort Hood and Fort Bliss and Fort Stewart and Fort Riley. You've heard of big forts, right? Well, in the military, we use forward operating bases. They're like mini forts that we put out in no man's land, right? To have a safe, secure place.
If you want to give me 2 seconds.
All right, there we go. So you're saying, there are the bigger forts. You've got, like you said, Fort Hood, Fort Riley, Fort Bliss, but instead overseas, you've got FOBs, the forward operating bases. So,
well, again, Fort Hope is going to be the national headquarters, because our end goal is to put a forward operating base, a FOB, in every state.
Wow, that's awesome.
That's the end goal. Okay. Again, we're boots on ground.
Mm-hmm.
We don't talk about it. We do it. Okay.
Yeah.
I get a lot of flack because I will not post the veterans we help on our social media. Well, how do we know? Well, look, you want our financials? Look at our website. The contact information for our accountant's right there. He'll send it to you. But I will not use my brothers and sisters as a tool to gain funding. Just won't do it. It's just not right. Sympathy is great, but no.
Right.
Here, I'm going to put up a brother or a sister's dirty laundry out on the web for $1. No, ain't going to happen.
Yeah, no, and I think that's a real good strategy. Not only just because it's the right thing to do, the respectful thing to do, but like you said, there are a lot of nonprofits out there that claim to be nonprofit. In reality, they're not, A. And B, it almost borderlines on virtue signaling the way they kind of expose and exploit individuals who are going through some of, if not the worst parts of their life, just so they can keep, collecting money. So, yeah, I respect the shit out of that. That's awesome.
Well, I get a lot of hate emails, but hey, you know what?
That makes no sense.
Comes with the territory, brother. Comes with the territory. People say you're giving us a bad name. I'm like, have you looked in the mirror lately?
Yeah.
Tell me why you need a $720,000 salary to run a nonprofit. Please, somebody.
Yeah.
Explain that to me.
Yeah, and that's what I really loved about your handout that you sent me, that PDF file, was that it's very transparent. I mean, you guys just broke down, like, all right, here's step 1, 2, 3, and 4 that's going to lead into hope. And then here's how we're going to get into rush. And then here's like where all the money's going to. Like, it's a very, very clear layout into what your scheme of maneuvers, like what you're going to be doing. And I think that transparency is what a lot of people, I think in every facet of life right now, but I think a lot of people need that when they're going to, if they're putting their money down into something, if they're going to invest their time into something, whether they, they're making a donation to you or they're volunteering or whatever it may be, they need that transparency from you guys. So I think that's really awesome.
Oh, that's it. From day one, that's what I've always said is transparency. We lost a $500,000 grant because we don't have any paid employees. Okay, well,
Interesting. So you lost a grant because you're not paying employees.
Yeah.
Interesting. So how did that work?
Brother, if I knew that answer.
Because I don't know very much, admittedly, about the business behind nonprofits, but it seems like you're doing what your name says you should be doing, and you're losing money because of it. That makes...
Hey, again, brother, but somebody suggested to me, well, you take a salary and then you just donate it back. And we're checking that block, right? Well, first, I don't just check blocks. Okay? Yeah. That's not how you run an operation. You go down to the motor pool, you check out your vehicle, and you just check the block that it's serviceable, and it's not. Things happen, right?
Right.
Okay. Well, we are faith-based and scripture-led. So I listened to everybody. Okay, come on, how do we make this thing better? I looked in my Bible, I read it backwards and forward again, and I went, nowhere in this book does it tell me it's okay to lie to gain favor, to get ahead. So, guess what? Not going to do it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it makes sense to me. It makes sense to me.
Again, a lot of people don't understand what it takes to run a nonprofit.
Yeah.
Do I wish I had the funding right now in my back pocket to get FileBrush up and running? Yes. As of today, and yes, your viewers are going to see things out of sequence with all this, but with everything that is happening in Afghanistan right now, my phone is blowing up from brothers and sisters I feel neglected.
Yeah.
I feel like I didn't do anything, and it's starting to lead to that spiral of, hey, no. Okay. We're going to have a big uptake here in this number.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's I mean, unfortunate doesn't even begin to cover what it is. And through my point of view, this is just for history repeating itself again. You had a huge looking back on it, there was a huge spike of veteran suicide post-Vietnam, but back then they didn't call it PTSD. They didn't even deem it as suicide. It was, a side effect of shell shock. That's how they were looking at it back then. But now that we've, wised up to it, looked into it more, and now we're seeing what's going on in Afghanistan. And then, regardless of where you sit politically, left or right, just to see the sitting president of the United States say that the mission of Afghanistan was never to nation build. And did you see him say that?
No, I didn't. I'll be honest with you, brother. I really don't talk a lot about politics because,
okay, yeah.
You know what? You know why? The mission, I don't care. I don't care if you're
right, and that's
left.
good.
I don't.
No,
care
that's good.
I don't care if you're right.
Yeah.
Right. This mission is to help those who stood and said, "This I will defend."
Right.
So your freedom that you so covet, right?
Yeah.
Again, my personal views, that's my personal views.
Right.
Okay. Who I vote for is my choice.
Exactly. No, it's awesome. And I think that's the best way, especially when concerning mental health with people who do feel discriminated against for, the huge plethora of reasons. I think that's the best way to approach it. And like I was saying, it's just unfortunate. There's so many things happening right now with all of the news and all of just the updates that we're getting from Afghanistan, I put it up on one of my pages. And I was like, listen, like if you're involved in Afghanistan and you need somebody to talk to, like I am sorry, holy crap, because it just looks like. You're right. Everything you've been getting told, I've been getting told the same thing by some of my friends that went over and served there. It's like, well, I feel like we weren't doing anything. I feel like we wasted our time. My friends died for no reason. We've got Afghani friends over there in trouble. They're dying for no reason. I'm like, we can talk about this for as long as you'd like. Like, this is awful. And I think.
Go ahead. I put out on our social media, on our Facebook page, I don't know if you saw it, but a message out to my brothers and sisters that served in Afghanistan. No, you did right. You did your duty. Okay, you went, you served honorably, you made it back alive, you brought your brothers and sisters back. In war, we understand we may lose people, but you did it right. Don't take what somebody on a high horse says.
Right.
No, you served. You made it back. You accomplished something. Okay, I've also personally put out, look, I was a soldier for 26 years. Got it. I've been called, in case of war, break glass. Got it, right? But you know what? I'm all for, as a soldier with multiple combat tours, I'm all for politicians talking. You all can talk to your blue in the face.
Yeah.
Try to figure this out peacefully. But when you break the glass and send us over, right? Don't do the Monday morning armchair quarterback routine on us.
Yeah.
It's that. War is ugly. War is nasty. War is just terrible.
Yeah.
And some of us are trained to do those nasty things, so it doesn't happen here on our soil. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Let us go do our job. And now, when we go and do that, great. When we come home, more's got to be done. I relate back to the Roman Empire. When a Roman centurion finished their total enlistment, they retired out, right? They got a medallion. And they got 10 acres of land out on the frontier, mind you, where they were just beating down the barbarians, but they still got 10 acres of land and a medallion. Every Roman citizen knew, and it wasn't by law that they had to, but every Roman citizen knew when they had that medallion, if they were traveling they had a bed for the night and a meal just because of, hey, I'm a Roman citizen because you went out there and kept the barbarians from Rome.
Right. No, yeah.
Okay. Whether you love war, hate war, whatever, that doesn't matter. You got to support the warrior.
Yeah. So, looking at today's, in your opinion, with the way just I think our society is kind of progressing, what do you think the lack of care and the lack of respect that's shown to the warriors, these individuals that go out and they serve, do you think the big like all right, what it's like the best way to go about changing the way we approach that? Is it like a mindset thing? Do you think it's a ignorance thing? Like people don't really understand, and I think more education needs to be put out there about like, yes, we know war is ugly. Well, not everyone really knows how ugly war is, right? You have to really experience how
You got to be there.
You got to be there, but you for everyone else that may be wanting to help, right? Wanting to understand what they're going through so they can help them the best. What do you think kind of has to start changing about our society to give more respect to that and give the best help that can be given as the years go on?
Let's just go back to World War II, right? The American way of life was threatened. Empire of Japan, Nazi Germany, right? So what did we do? We went over, boom, got rid of the problem. Came back. American citizens knew why they went. Now there's so much information out there, right?
Right.
Why did we go here? Why are we putting troops there? Why? Look, there are some things I know in the 50s, 60s, and 70s that the governments did that we'll never know about, and I'm cool with that. Okay? I am.
Yeah.
I've done some things in my career that, you know what? I was always taught if people knew about it, we failed. There's bad people in this world that want to do harm to America. Right? If you hate this country, Canada's north, Mexico's south, take a trip. If you're an American, you understand what it means to be an American. So support the country.
Yeah.
I mean, this is what I love about our country. We have a freely democratic election system. I don't know how many looks I got standing in line to vote while in uniform waiting to go to work, right? People say, you guys vote? Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Okay. You know, and just like that, brothers and sisters that have put on the uniform and served. I see a lot of keyboard warriors out there.
Yeah.
Have you gone out and voted? Because I'll tell you this, they do a vote for the local dog catcher here, I'm there, casting my ballot. That's what makes us a great country.
Right.
Okay. And as it says, until you know, people complain about this and that, I ask, have you voted? Well, no. Then why are you talking to me about this?
Yeah, it's I certainly agree with that. Voting is one of the best, rights as an American that you can have, without a doubt. And I've also heard the argument that, well, if you don't like what's on the ballot, not voting is a vote. And I kind of see that. But on the other hand, it's very rare that I've ever really looked at any sort of situation where you are voting and it's like, yeah, it makes sense not to vote here. I can't say I've seen that in my lifetime.
No, there's no such thing as no vote is a vote. No, it's not a vote. There is good and evil in this world. You have to look at what makes it to the ballot. Well, that's where it first begins. It takes things to make it to a ballot. So where were you involved in the thing that made it to the ballot? Okay.
Yeah. No, yeah. And talking about, you brought up a real good point about how the Romans treated their soldiers. Me and a couple of my buddies, a few of them who are currently serving, we kind of talk about like what's going on in America right now. A lot of people like to make the allegory to like the fall of Rome and like maybe how that happened. How can we learn from that so we can actively avoid? And one of the points a buddy of mine brought up was that, really what took down Rome was, they knew they were Romans. They thought they were the best. They thought they couldn't fall because they were the top dog. And their society became like relaxed and corrupted by just vices. And so when I'm trying to get this right. So when I think he said it was Constantine that came to the gates of Rome, and he wasn't met by any sort of defenses, and he's like, "Oh, well, this is mine now," and they took it. And I hear, because I mean, as a Christian myself, I kind of I buy to this, and I know a lot of my other Christian friends do as well. They see what's becoming socially accepted and what's becoming socially normalized. And in my point of view, we're here in the United States of America. Like, as long as you're not hurting other people, live your life. Be as free as you want to be. However, there are a set of values that come with being a Christian, and watching some of these values become thrown to the wayside, the exact opposites being socially normalized. In your personal opinion, do you think this could continue to start doing some long-term damage?
Oh, yeah.
To the way we're continuing.
Look, as a Christian, right? As a man saved, I got to backtrack a little bit. 11 years ago, I had a 45 in my mouth, brother. I was getting ready to end it. And then God saved my life. Okay? It's just, look. Yeah. If you are a Christian and you think child pornography is, that's just a norm, got news for you. You're not going to go where I'm going to go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I saw a post the other day. You all going to be really surprised when the rapture happened and you don't go. That was on a church billboard. I was like, yeah, I like that. Right? Look, nobody's perfect.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's certain things as a Christian you cannot just say, oh, that's normal. Okay? As an American, you have the right to believe everything you can. And I'll defend you on that, even to this day. Right? You have a right to stand on a street corner and say, I believe the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, whatever, right? And as long as you do it within the laws, I will stand in front of you and say they're allowed to speak. But the first time you throw a brick through a store window, light a car on fire, you become a terrorist. And I'm sorry, there's only one thing I know to do with terrorists. I'm trained that way. When you use fear and intimidation to get your way, you're a terrorist. It's just that simple. It's my right. No, your right is to assemble peacefully.
Right. No, I agree. I mean, and it's, it was scary. for me watching during last year, we're about 2-3 months deep into a pandemic. Everyone's locked into their houses. Tension, you kind of feel it, right? Tensions are rising. You feel it outside. For whatever reason, the toilet paper's gone. And tensions are rising, and then the George Floyd incident happens, and just all hell breaks loose. And it's I feel for the people that support the Black Lives Matter movement and that want to go out and march in the streets with their signs and they want to do their thing, and then a bunch of jackasses come in and ruin it, start violence, start mayhem, and then just everything just starts imploding and exploding, literally. And it's like, well, it really sucks to be those guys who actually want to push their statement forward, push their beliefs forward, and say, hey, yeah, we feel discriminated against. We feel like this is wrong, but now all of this is happening, and it's just been taken to an extreme that it never should have gone. And I agree with you. The people who want to do that are just horrible.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
Okay. Look, everybody, I got in a little argument, combat medic here, right? I never looked at white, black, Hispanic, Asian. To me, all the blood was red.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't care what color you are. Oh, I'm a bigot? No, I'm not. Get over it. People want to slam me, feel free. But I don't care what color you are. Are you a good, decent human being? Great. We can be friends.
So, and I agree with you. I'm in the same way. And that was a huge reason, like one of maybe 2 or 3 that I've got for why I started doing this whole podcast. So I used to just sit down and just talk with people, whether we disagree on stuff or not, whether we want to get hammered and BS for 5 hours or not. But it's hard. It's a challenge for me to try to understand why. And I think that's why, it is abnormal, because we're not meant to. There's tribalism, but there's a difference between having your group of people and actively hating others. And in your point of view, how do we go about, because we're so divided right now that it's
again, let's look back at history, right? There's always been human conflict, okay? Always. From the first 2 villages.
Right.
Ooh, they got more cattle than I do. Ooh, they got more grain than I do. Oh, we got to go take, right? Look, that's just how it is. Yeah. Abel, Cain, Bible, right? Let's roll back there, right? There's always good and evil. Okay. This is Christians. Because I know some devout Christians that think that same way. They can't be Christians because they're this. They can't be Christians because they're this. Wrong answer. Wrong answer.
Right.
You Pharisee speaking,
Yeah.
Okay, wrong answer. There's always division. And even you and I could disagree on something. And we can agree to disagree. But yet, we can still sit down and have a cup of coffee and talk. Okay.
No, that's super
the
important.
Key.
Yeah.
I will listen to anybody who has an idea how to make Project Diehard grow. Right?
Right.
No problem. I will listen to your ideas. Whether or not they make it to fruition, if they don't get upset and take your ball and go home. Hey, I lost that one. Okay, as the founder and president, my job is to protect the integrity of this mission. not to let those outsiders come in and change the mission and change the statement. Okay, veteran lives matter. Plain and simple. Right?
Right.
I'll be honest, I've dismissed board members for the word I. I did this and I did that. You'll never hear me do that. You give $22 a month. That's what we ask for. $22 a month. 71 cents a day. And whether you give $22 a month or $22,000 a month, every one of our patrons has the same right. You get to come to any facility and see where your money is going. Plain and simple. I throw a caveat on that. When you come, bring work gloves and muck boots. Because there's always going to be something to do.
Right.
Somebody asked, so you'd make somebody that gives you $22,000 a month dig a ditch? I said, if a ditch needs dug, but understand this, I'll be right there with them.
Yeah. So no, you bring up a real good point. And the at least the term that I was, taught what that means is like servant leadership. So with your philosophy in running this nonprofit, it seems like a very clear through line to me that that's coming from your military service. So where along do you think in your service did you really start to get taught and then practice, what servant leadership was to you, and then how are you bringing that into the nonprofit itself?
Well, service leadership was brought to me when I was a private, and I had NCOs screaming and hollering and calling me names. I was like, I don't like this. So when I get there, I won't do it. Okay? That's that. But yeah, I got a lot of military in Diehard. I do, because look, man, I'm a soldier. I just had another discussion with a veteran we're helping. It's not that we left the Army. We just transferred branches. I'm not in the United States Army anymore, but I'm in God's Army. See what I'm saying? It's not that no, I'm just in a different army now. I'm in God's army. And Jesus, I feel in my heart when I read my Bible about Jesus, I just think he did the same thing. If there was something to be done, beating a rug or, I just feel he would be there going, yep, we got to beat the rug so we can have dinner tonight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I just feel that way, that's what Jesus calls us to do.
Yeah.
If you're going to take up the mantle of spreading God's word and God's grace, you have to be willing to wash somebody's feet. It's just that simple.
No, I agree. And I think that because I think especially like today, Christianity gets a really unfair treatment by the masses, by just the general population. And I think that if more people would just speak very, like you just said, very transparently about it. Like, look, we're not here to discriminate. We're not here to push people away. Quite the opposite. Like, I was having a conversation with a friend of mine who's not a Christian currently, and and I was honest with him. I was like, give me your, what do you find wrong with it, right? Well, how do you find, what are you at opposition with when it comes to the religion of Christianity? And he said, well, whenever I try to express my views, I just get shut down immediately. Nobody wants to hear it. And I was like, well, one reason for that might be that these people that you're talking to, they're claiming to be Christians, either they don't know what they're talking about, A, or B, they claim to be Christians, but they don't know what they're displaying it quite wrong. So I was like, think about it very practically, dude. If you want to convert somebody into a religion, why would you discriminate against them? Right? They're not doing what God calls us to do. If you look at Scripture, you look at the New Testament, man, like, yeah, Jesus had his disciples. He did. And even those guys, none of them were perfect people. They were not perfect people. I think that was the whole point. But as he went through his life and he went and he spoke with thousands of people, he took time at every place that he went to speak with, because, back then tax collectors were the most hated individuals out there. He spoke with tax collectors. He spoke with slaves. He spoke with prostitutes. He spoke with all these different types of people, letting them know that there is love out there for them. And even though maybe that love is going against what their society is bringing them right now, it's still there should they choose to accept it. And our conversation kind of carried through there. But the point I want to get to is, I think that if the idea is pushed forward that one of the whole tenets of Christianity is to talk to as many people as possible, to as many variations of people. Because I feel like if you just keep talking to other Christians and you're just in this echo chamber of we all love God, that's great. That's all fine and dandy, but go talk to people that maybe don't feel the same way you do.
Again, it is great to be in that echo chamber, right? It is. I love it. I love it when I get a bunch of my veteran brothers together. We're all Christians and we're all just, right? That just re-energizes me. But yet I know you have to go to the dark places to save people. Okay? I had a conversation with another Christian organization, and we'll get onto that little tangent too, because I got some choice words for some fellow Christians. But I told him, I said, brother, I'd be more than happy to help you with your ministry. He goes, how can you help me? I said, you want to save lost people? I said, I got a bunch of them. But I'm going to warn you. I'm not going to go get them for you. You're going to come with me. And I'm going to take you to the dark places. And he went, what? Yeah. I can go get the lost souls and bring them to your church, no problem. But somewhere it says if I teach you to fish, right?
Yeah.
Okay. As a Christian, you have to be strong in your faith. You have to be strong in your faith. I use this and you'll understand it, but most people don't. I will not quit this mission. As much as Satan throws everything at me, God has my six. I had a civilian go, what does that mean? Look it up. Because God's got my six. I'm not going to fail. That's just that. Okay, that's something that people got to believe. If you're a Christian and you don't believe that God is the ultimate power in everything, you need to readjust your thinking process.
Yeah.
Go back to the basics. Why was Jesus put on earth? To save us.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, you're perfectly right. And sadly, I'm sure you ran into this on more than one occasion, but how do you go about having the conversation with an individual that, maybe they didn't love their service, they didn't hate it either, maybe they feel disenfranchised by the military, and then they don't have that they don't have that strong foundation in any religion, let alone Christianity? How do you start that conversation Because I mean, you're not going to convert them right then and there, but how do you just start that conversation, plant that seed, as it were?
It's real simple, especially in my case. Brother, I know how you're feeling. I do. I use levity or well, it's truth, but when I had that 45 in my mouth, my phone rang. It was another veteran who was having a little bit more trouble than I. And I guess it was a medic in me. I answered the phone call. Okay. And he asked, "What are you doing tomorrow?" Nothing. Because I literally had nothing planned. Okay. So he took me down to this little pink building in downtown here. The old Finkel building, they called it in Paducah. It's pink. And this is where I know God has a sense of humor. Because he started a biker church in a pink building.
That's funny. All right, I read about that in that little handout you sent me. Yeah.
Okay. I go, look, if God can do that, imagine what he can do for you.
Yeah.
Again, I turned down $2 million. You want to know why?
Yeah, I'd love to know. Yeah.
One of the stipulations, you cannot pass out a Bible.
Huh.
Yeah, no.
That's weird.
No, that's called Satan trying his best.
That was, I'd imagine that was like in the contract you were signing to get the, was it a grant, a donation?
It was a donation.
Okay. Huh.
It was a donation. It was, yep, no. We didn't even make it to drawing up paperwork.
So that was like a verbal exchange that was going on. Like, hey, here's a couple of our little if, ands, or buts.
Yeah. And I mean, look, got it. Everybody has them. But I'm sorry. Every veteran that comes in any of our facilities will get a Bible and a devotional. Whether or not they use them is not up to me. That's up to God, the Holy Spirit, to move on their hearts, to let them open that book. All our facilities will be a safe, secure, loving, non-judgmental place for veterans to go. Whether or not they accept Jesus Christ, again, people think, well, that's up to you. No, it's not. That's up to God, man. I took in flack because somebody said, you would let a Muslim cleric come and do a service on your property? If I had a Muslim veteran go, I think I need this, guess what?
Right. Yeah, I mean, that seems like a pretty clear answer. I don't even really have to ask that question. Like, yeah, if your whole point is to save lives, why would we discriminate against somebody? Something as crucial as religion. That's interesting. Yeah. But yeah, like I said when we started out, I just love what you guys are doing, and I love about that fob rush. Because that's really tackling like the homeless veteran side of it, from what I was reading, right?
Oh, brother, look. We're going to put weekend cabins on all of our facilities. Yeah, the end thing is a homeless veteran, right? That's just, let's not even talk about that because that'll get my blood boiling. The reason we're doing families, right? 2 years ago, I get a phone call from a veteran out in California. Are you real? Is Fort Hope real? I said, brother, I'm working as hard as I can. but I chased that rabbit down the hole, right? Here's a veteran, a wife, 3 kids living in a minivan,
That's
80%
ugly.
disabled. What's wrong with that picture?
Yeah.
That's when I went back to my board and said, hey, we're doing families. I'm not going to talk to you about how much the insurance is going to cost when we get that first family put on that property.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, this is why I do, and I'm so grateful to be on your show, especially a fellow Christian show. Wow. Usually I'm trying to tiptoe around this thing and, you know, but no, I'm it. I'm the real deal. Jesus took the broken, most broke Momo out there and said, hey, I got a job for you. So I got to warn people that are coming to Christianity, keep your faith. But when you ask God for a mission and he gives you one, don't blink.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't do anything small. Okay, this is just that. I mean, the OnlyKings, and you'll probably edit this out. In fact, I wish you would, but when this airs, I'm going to put you in contact with somebody that might be able to help grow your audience.
Thank you very much. I'd appreciate that. Yeah.
Because I work with other nonprofits. Yes, we are all fighting for the same dollar out there, right? Got it. Some people will give to this because that's their heart. Some people will give to that because that's their heart, right? But as I talk to other nonprofits and even, nonprofits, it's working together. Imagine what we could do. Okay? I got nonprofits that take veterans hunting and fishing, on boat cruises, dude, got it. That means we don't got to pay for it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
They're going to find veterans that are going to need our facilities.
Right.
It's that working together.
Right. I agree.
I really wish some churches would get on that same shit of music. I really, really do. Okay.
Yeah, that's been an interesting, almost crossroads in our country, especially during the pandemic, was, well, churches don't pay taxes, we need money. And then it's why are mega churches allowed to be a thing? And I remember, I believe going not way back, but like going back a couple years when I believe it was Katrina, and infamously Joel Osteen didn't open up the church to let people in. And it's like, dude, what the heck is going on? And, admittedly, from a pragmatic, at a very like practical standpoint, it's like, yeah, churches bring a lot of money, you tax them, you get money. Yeah, that's on paper. But then if you do that, I disagree with that, because if you do that, you then open the door to, well, if the government's collecting taxes on churches, does the government start influencing churches? And the proper ones won't get influenced, but the bigger ones that talk to a lot of people, I see problems here,
Okay, look. Let's talk about social programs.
Yeah.
Right? Real simple. When did the churches stop doing it so the government had to take over?
No, I agree. It's like, where's all that money going?
No, it's just that. Churches if there was a family in distress, a family need, a person needed something, they went to the church. and the church went here. Okay. When did the churches stop doing that so the government had to take over?
Right.
Simple question.
And admittedly, that's a question that needs to get answered. And it's the rise of, nonprofits, the rise of like a GoFundMe pages having to like help cover almost as necessary, bills for people. I think that's just a huge tell on how much suffering is really going on in our country right now.
Well, and once again, the GoFundMe thing was a great idea until somebody figured out how to scam it.
Yeah.
Okay. That's why I say we're full transparent. Do due diligence on us. You want to see where the money's going? Call our accountant. He's got standing orders. Give it to him. You don't like the way we're spending money? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Don't give to us. Okay. But if you really care about a veteran and saving a life and putting God's grace in their hearts, kick up $22 a month. I've gone to small churches with a congregation of less than 30 people and to the glory of God, and came back and put a $2,000 check in our missions funding. I was like, praise God.
Yeah.
But I've also gone down to a church here that holds 10,000 people, and I can't even get an appointment to see the pastor.
I think, that's a real good point to bring up. And I think that kind of boils down to the mentality of those organizations. I think now that's not to say that, there are I know some in my life really devout individuals that go to the bigger churches here in New Mexico. I know them. They're there. But I also know some individuals that go there. We were talking a little bit earlier about checking boxes, where they kind of just want to go, they check the box and move on. And admittedly, I think the last time that I went to church was, I think, pre-pandemic. And I struggle trying to find a solid church for me to go to where I feel invested. And another part of it is just a lot of my worship and a lot of my studying happens right here in the studio. Whether it's, Lord only knows how late I stay up on a constant basis working on the podcast or working on my own personal job or, whatever it is I'm doing. So whether it's taking breaks and doing that, or it's I'm very blessed. Part of my personal job, I get to work from home a little bit, so I can take some time out of my day and do that. But I just find it interesting that, like, when you do go to those smaller, I guess you call them like community churches almost, the smaller, like, tight-knit churches that, not tight-knit in the sense that they won't welcome anybody in, because they definitely will, but just once you become a part of that circle, you're in that circle. You'll find a lot more of those individuals who are more open to helping people. They're a lot more transparent. We were talking about a little earlier about how they practice their beliefs, what their beliefs are, and they are there to actually worship and, converse.
Well, again, brother, you have a great thing here. You get to talk to Christians all the time because you run a podcast called OnlyKings. Right? So you study the Bible, and when you have a question, you reach out and you say, hey, let's talk about this. Okay? Dude, I cannot quote scripture to save my life.
Yep. Yep, feel that.
Can't do it. But you know what? I got a chaplain in our organization. He can do that. Boom. And I love him for it. I do. That's why he's here. My chaplain is there to keep me in line, make sure I don't swerve, and we got some heated arguments, trust me.
Yeah.
But again, I'm only as strong as the team that's around me. You made a statement about breaking into the inner circle of a church. Why should there be an inner circle?
No, it's good. That's a real good way to look at it. I agree.
To me, and now got it. We're a little bit focused on veterans. Why? I don't know. It's just something that sat right here that said,
Yeah, I wonder what it was.
I don't know, but am I going to, as much as I love doing podcasts and things, I'm so grateful that this time, right? But anytime a veteran wants to talk to me, okay. I've texted, hey, I'll be with you in an hour. I'm talking to a veteran.
Yeah.
Look, it's my end goal for this is be able to go to any of our facilities anywhere, and my brothers and sisters not know who I am. That's my end goal.
Right.
To be able to hop into a blacksmithing class or a pottery class. And I'm just another broke down old veteran trying to get my mind right. And my brothers and sisters don't know who I am. I don't do this to become rich or famous. I do this in service to my Lord God. Because of it's a guilt thing. No, I got it. Jesus forgave me of all the sins I have done in my life. And I'm thankful for it because I've done some doozies. Right? But I got to give back. This is my therapy. Believe it or not, this is what makes me be able to sleep at night. Is the fact that I'm in the fight for my brothers and sisters. And I'll take the hits. And I'll take the snide comments. And I'll take the... Trust me, I've been called some doozies. But I love it. I do. You don't have to agree with me. You really don't. I'm going to do what the Lord has instructed me to do. Come on, or see ya.
Yeah.
We're moving forward.
Yeah.
I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah. No, and like I said, I can't say this enough. It's sad how necessary organizations like yours are, but I know that not only me and there's a lot, there's tens of millions of people that are super thankful for what you're doing, and I mean I'm super thankful that we were able to get into contact. When I saw your message, I was like, this is cool. And I looked into it, like, this is even better. This is awesome. And, it's invaluable what you're doing. And I think what you're doing specifically, again, I'm just thoroughly impressed with the plans for Rush. I really am. That's just great what you guys have going and what your plan is for the future. I showed some of my other friends that are serving, and they're like, damn, it's pretty awesome. And it's just, I love what you guys are doing.
Well, again, you checked us out. We're the real deal.
Yeah.
So tell all your friends and said, that's awesome. Hey, $22 a month will help get it up and running even faster.
Yeah.
Share the mission. Because somewhere out there is a person that could cut a check, that doesn't want to be famous, that don't want to put the little clauses on this. Hey, if you're gonna, I'm gonna give you this money, but you got to do it my way.
Right. The stipulations.
Yeah, the stipulations.
Yeah.
Somewhere out there is somebody who says, dude, they're doing it right. I don't need to be famous. I'm going to help them. Right? Tell them. You're out there in New Mexico. Block off your calendar. Bring your banner. July 29th, 30th, and 31st, 2022 at Forward Operating Base Rush. Come and hang out at Hope Stock.
That's clever. I like that.
You know, again, I do events on the property. I want people to come. I want people to see it, touch it, feel it. And I might hand you a hammer or a paintbrush. I don't know. You know. But it's that.
No, that's super important. I mean, that sense of community is needed right now. You know, I think that's awesome what you guys are doing. And before we close out, where can everyone find you? Like your social media pages, your contacts info.
Okay.
I'll throw all that in the description, but where can we find you?
ProjectDiehard.org. That's our website. Facebook, Project Diehard 22. That's Facebook. Twitter, I forget because I don't tweet.
We have a Twitter, and my producer's like, "Hey man, you need to start using Twitter." I'm like, "I really don't want to. I don't. You can use it for us if you like. I just not my thing."
Yeah, like I'm the same way. Instagram, Project Diehard. We're not hard to find. Actually, I just got hacked on my personal page.
Oh, geez.
Oh no! Everybody who knows me goes, dude. He's trying to get me to send him $250. No.
Yeah.
That's not me.
Yeah, that's really fun.
Oh, dude, I've been having email exchange with them as of late. Nothing for nothing. I still got friends in the DOD that work in the crypto department. We're gonna find you. Just suck it up, Buttercup. We're gonna find you.
That's funny.
And when we do, I don't know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, that's.
But you done hacked the wrong person.
Well, again, sir, I'm really thankful that you reached out. I'm really thankful we got to do this. This might be my quickest turnaround from concept to shoot that I've done. So I'm real thankful we got to do this. So right now we're on Wednesday. This will be out next Wednesday.
Okay.
That'll give me enough time to send out. I'm real excited to do it. Really excited to do it. Yeah. I thank you. Seriously.
Look, brother, thank you. Okay. If it wasn't for WBGL, a Christian radio station up where we're at, we wouldn't have enough funding coming in to cover the utilities. We got barely enough to do that right now. It's going to cost about $800,000 to get this building back to code.
Wow.
Yeah, that ain't nothing, brother. God's got my six. Again, this is where other Christians like you come in. As I say, I will not spend $10 million on a Super Bowl ad. Just won't do it. I will not put our brothers and sisters out there for the pity vote. I won't do it.
Yeah.
But if you believe in the mission and you believe in the cause, you're going to tell your people, look, I've checked them out. They're real. We need to help them. Whether it's a one-time donation or that $22 a month, every little bit's going to help.
Yeah, yes, we'll talk a little more whenever we get done with this, so I can get a link and like make sure I'm using it properly, because I suck with stuff like that. But
yeah,
I'll get the link from you, and like I said, I'll throw it in our description whenever we start posting. And yeah, sir, thank you very much again for coming on. I really appreciate you guys listening and watching. As always, thank you for sticking around, and we'll see you guys next time. Thank you again, sir.
Thank you.